Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Beneath a Steel Sky for the PC. In the last episode, we died! And we also learned that this is where androids are being made. Well, technically we learned that before we died, but it was definitely more true after we died. There is an android in the room to the west, the one that we didn't come out from before coming in here. And we need to deal with him. And to do that, we need to not go in there ourselves and send in Joey. So we need Joey to check out the tank room.
Please be more specific.
I want a detailed report on everything, especially that android.
The android could be dangerous.
Exactly. I don't want to risk my neck.
And we now see Joey go into the tank room. And from here, we wait. Oh boy. So, we are nearing the end of the game now. This definitely feels like a place where a lot of things in this game are going to happen. As if things weren't happening in town already. Alright. Joey's back. We can talk to him and get a report in the tank room.
Give me a report on the tank room.
The growth tanks contain developing androids. Nourishment is supplied from a tank. The temperature is maintained by convection from an underground source.
Well. So inside that tank room, they're making androids. And that underground source that we went to earlier, that we cooled down, that is heating the place up. This is supplying the heat for things. And of course we have a tank of soup that is being used to give the androids nutrients. Let us talk. Oh, there's a recharging unit. I never even looked at recharging unit.
That's where the medical robot gets its power.
And I doubt we can mess with it.
It's activated by the robot's presence.
Very well. Let's go ahead and talk to Joey. And we can talk about the things in the tank room. We can start with the growth tanks.
Access to the growth tanks is not possible.
Some of the dialogue that Joey has in this part is missing. That's kind of weird. So we can't get to the growth tanks. What about the computer?
Tell me about the computer.
Access to the computer is denied.
Maybe we can do something with the nutrient tank?
The tank contains chemicals on which the androids feed.
So, without it, they die?
Affirmative.
Is there a way of draining the tank?
Manual evacuation is achieved by opening a tap.
Interesting. We can open that tap and drain the fluids from the nutrient tank. Let's ask about the android, even though we pretty much know all we need from, or rather need about the android when the android snapped our neck.
Tell me about the android.
It is programmed to safeguard the developing androids.
Is he dangerous?
It's certainly stupid enough to constitute a threat.
And we know all that we need to know about the tank room. So let's go ahead and ask Joey to open the tap on the nutrient tank.
That will distract the android technician.
And once again, we have to wait for Joey to go in, mess with the tank, and then he returns. Once he messes with the tank and we return, we can go in there. And of course, if we try to talk to Joey again, we won't be able to do anything. We won't be able to get any more options. So let's just go ahead and go in here.
Hello. I was not expecting a visitor. A puddle? The tank must be leaking.
Humans 1, androids 0.
So, there were two things you needed to do before you went into this room. One is obviously messing with the tank tap. Messing with the tank tap. I cannot decide which word I want to use here. By making the tank leak, Walter, the android, will sidestep the spillage and walk towards the grate. That leads to number 2. Pulling the metal tab on the grate in the room downstairs from the entrance where we had to cool the temperature down. By pulling the metal tab, this loosened the grate, and when Walter walked on it to sidestep the spillage, he fell down into that room and down the pit where the lava is. He's gone. We don't have to deal with him anymore. So, without further ado, we will now go ahead and explore this room.
It's a foul-smelling chemical soup.
I doubt we want to put our hands in here.
I'm not risking my fingers in that stuff.
I didn't think so. Well, there is the spillage. If I can click on it. I guess I cannot. We can't click on the hole, though.
Careful I don't fall in there.
And if you try to right-click, you won't fall in there.
The heat from below rises through that. The heat from better be.
Yeah, okay. That was the right-click thing, where he talks about the heat there. Let's look at the spillage.
It looks like the stuff that lamb eats.
Ugh.
It's sticky and slightly astringent, making my fingers tingle.
Well, that's a visual. Let's click on the tap.
It's letting the chemical goo seep out. I can't reach the tap without stepping in the puddle.
So we can't right-click it to close it. So if we need to, we can just have Joey get it.
Never mind.
There are some other things that we can look at, such as the computer. Even though the access to that is
No
denied.
obvious explanation of what it's controlling.
And I doubt we can do anything with it.
There aren't any manual controls.
Thought so. There are some cylindrical tanks. I'm guessing they're growing androids in there.
There's a weird fetus thing floating in it. Whoever said babies were cute? The casing is thin, but very hard.
If you right-click any of the tanks, you'll get the same description about the casing. So keep that in mind.
There's a weird fetus thing floating in it. Whoever said babies were cute?
And believe it or not, there is more. Now, here, the tanks have more than a fetus in it.
There's a rubbery man in there. So that's how androids are created.
And this one is completely empty.
This tank isn't occupied.
Now it's time to look around. There's a door here, there's a door here, with a locking mechanism, and a door here.
I've got a hunch I'll need to open that.
Of course, if we try to right-click it, the game will not let us go in.
No way of opening it.
Let's go ahead and look at this door simply because we can. This one looks a little more...
Whatever's behind that door must be important.
I want to say, important.
There's no way I could push that door open.
And that door probably looks pretty secure, especially with this locking mechanism nearby.
That's the most secure lock I've ever seen.
Let me guess. You can't do anything with that, can you?
No manual controls.
Nope. So, we're going to have to go through this opening right here. And in here, we have things. We have a terminal.
It's displaying some info.
And, well, we could look at it. We could obviously use the card that we have. Reich's ID card. But we also have some monitors we can look at.
They're linked to surveillance cameras.
The top monitors all give you the same description. And of course, if you try to use any of them, you just shrug your shoulders. Same with the two down here. Though these two have different descriptions.
It's a view of the reactor. This monitor is switched off.
So apparently whoever has been in here has been watching the city and has also been watching us. Also, there is another interface like the one in the security office.
Another entrance to Weird World.
And if we were to put a card in this slot,
It's a standard card slot.
we will definitely be able to use the interface. Let us see what we can do with the terminal. I'm pretty sure that the interface will take us to the same LINC-Space world we've been to. As for the terminal, we can use Reich's ID card, and from here we can get a status report on what's going on around here and see if we can access a restricted area. Status report. Nutrient tank drain. Open. Possible malfunction of Walter 14. Temperature surge detected. Investigation in progress. Emergency life support. On. Gee, I wonder whose fault that is. Ours, obviously. And pressing 2 gives us access to a restricted area. Walter version 2.4 research. Clean environment. Have you decontaminated? Access door closed. If we select 1, we can toggle the door to either be open or closed. Let us go ahead and open it, and then from here we can exit. This will more than likely let us go through the door with the locking mechanism that we can go through earlier.
You've saved me the bother of coming to find you. I should have guessed you were part of all this. Why do you think Reich had to die when he tried to kill you? Or that meddling girl who tried to help you escape? Link needs you alive, Overman. That's why it planned this family reunion.
Get out while you can, Rob.
Stop! Tell me what you want from me! You won't be needing this robot where you're going.
Well, so much for Joey's new body, which we just got in the last video. And thankfully, before he could finish the medical droid body off that Joey was using, needle right to the stomach. He's done.
It's an android.
And what do you know? Of course it'd be another android. What else or who else could this be?
Aha! Another ID card from my collection.
But if you right-click the android's body, you can get another ID card. Another link card, this time a red one. The plastic card bears a holographic image of Gallagher. Gallagher, we haven't seen him since the time that we entered the residential area for the first time. He was the guy sitting at the bench who, when we talked to him, was really super philosophical. You didn't even have to speak to him at all. But unless you spoke to him, you won't know who this is. Who would have thought he'd be integral to all this? Also, let's go ahead and search the robot. I think if we right-click him, we can get the circuit board back again.
It wasn't Joey's lucky day.
Well, of course it wasn't. Now to get his circuit board back.
Poor Joey didn't last long in that shell. I'll take his board as a memento.
Because we are certainly going to need it. Anyway, let us now go through... Actually, no. We don't want to go through there yet. We have a card that we can use. And we have an interface that we can play around with. Let us go ahead and use Gallagher's card on this slot. And from here we can use the interface. Let us see what we can do now that we can go into LINC-Space with Gallagher's info. There's a thing called Divine Wrath. Let's go ahead and get some info on it. File, Divine Wrath. Size, 53K. Design, information classified. Classified specification. Union security use only. Divine Wrath. Well, we had a Crusader who kept us from going somewhere before. Maybe we can use it on him. Anyway, let's go ahead and blind the eyeball here and quickly go north. Barely made it in there before we got zapped. Now to use Divine Wrath on the Crusader. Yikes! Yeah, it looked like it wasn't going to do anything at first when you used Divine Wrath on the Crusader, but he gets squished like a statue, and that was like Monty Python, only a lot more harrowing and a lot more shocking. Then again, the game is getting serious here. Do you really expect the Crusader to be crushed by a giant naked foot? Anyway, we have a crystal with a helix in it. File, Polywrap Crystal, size 40K. Design, M-Trip, Hobart Fun Progs. Protect applications from unauthorized dyes. Donations to Hobart Funware Inc. We won't be able to get this because we need something to break the crystal. Unfortunately, we don't have anything that breaks it. At least, not with Gallagher's card. But if we go back in with Anita's card, we should be able to do it. Because back when we were still using Anita's card, we found a tuning fork. Tuning fork can obviously be used to break glass. So let's go ahead and use Anita's card, get in the interface, and then go back to the crystal and use the tuning fork to shatter it. Like, look, we still have it. We still have the oscillator. Okay. We know what to do to get to where we need to be. We just don't have to get rid of the Crusader anymore. We just need to blind the eyeball, get back in here, and then head east, and we'll be back at the crystal. Now that we have access to the oscillator / tuning fork again, we can use it on the crystal, and the crystal is gone. We can now get the helix, which gives us a virus. That's not what I wanted. I wanted info. File, helix, size, 69K. Design, Hobart Institute of Cybernetics. The combat the Caudel syndrome, checking the growth of rogue tissue in smart systems. This is the virus that Eduardo mentioned we're going to have to use it against Link, obviously. And there's nothing else that we can do here. So we're just going to have to disconnect. And from here, we should have everything possible. You know, we have the circuit board, we have all 3 cars, we have all this stuff. Yeah, we should be good at this point. Let us go ahead and save the game, because it has been over 20 minutes now. Alright. We are getting close to our mission. Apparently, Link is what wants us. And the reason that Reich was killed, and probably why Anita was also killed, was because Link wants us alive. Also, Gallagher mentioned something about a family reunion. Could her father be alive? And if so, what's going on here? Everything will be revealed, hopefully, in the next episode. Join me next time where we do some more exploration and deal with who knows what. Something tells me that the end is in sight here. So until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!